Hello everybody, again on the MK4. Let's talk about shifting issues right now. As you can see, we have our shifter over here. Pretty tight, this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, considering almost 400,000 kilometers. I don't know how many miles, but do the math. So, yes, there's a couple of guts in here. You have a bushing, you have a ball, you have a wire, but the issue usually really isn't in here. I'm going to make another video one day about how to fix in here, how to make it a little bit tighter, how to make it a little bit more stiff. But that's not what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the actual shift linkages in the car. Let's get it. Open our hood and we look inside. Everybody knows, if you're a good DIYer, the way the shift linkage is made on the MK4, you have your upside down golf stick, which is for balance. You have your two cables over here, 1 and 2, for your shift selecting, and you have, of course, the track in here, which goes up and down and controls up and down for selecting your gears. Now you want to make it a little bit tighter. I rebuilt my shift tower a little while back, but I discovered that the white, whatever you want to call it, donut, the piece of plastic that slides into the slot over here, was discontinued. So I had to come up with something that was going to work, was going to last, and it was going to be better than stock. And let me tell you, this is much better than stock. Now, it's a little bit hard to see, but what you're going to do is you're going to get yourself, first of all, you take out this bracket over here. You're gonna drill out the actual pin. It's a ball pin because the stock piece press fits onto that ball and it rotates, but it gets loose with time and it becomes garbage. You're gonna drill out that stick and you're gonna be left with a hole. You're gonna be left with a hole where the original piece used to go. You're gonna drill it just a little bit bigger to pass a 3/8 1 inch long bolt. It's gotta be 3/8, and you gotta make the hole not too big. You don't want it too loose, but you want the 3/8 bolt to fit inside, not threading it, nothing. You want it to fit. You're going to put yourself a washer in the back, a lock washer on the other side of the plate, with obviously a lock nut. A lock nut because it will not undo, it will not loosen, and it's thicker than an original nut, and it fits perfectly into that track over there. As you can see, if I move the shifter up and down, it works. And it's been doing that since the beginning of this summer, and I haven't seen any wear and I haven't seen any slack occur ever since. Now, you put on a vise. You take out this big piece of bracket over here, you put on a vise, you do your work, and you tighten that 3/8 bolt to align, to fit into this upside down golf club, but you don't want it too tight. You want it tight enough for this bracket not to wobble on the joint over here, but you want it loose enough to be able to rotate like this. But believe me guys, as soon as you put your lock washer with a lock nut, it is not going to get any loose. That, there's barely any space between, actually there's no space between the actual 3/8 nut and the track inside this upside down golf club, which turns out to be perfect fix, perfect fit, as if it was meant to be. Now, that's going to make your shifting much more accurate. Another thing that seems to always break on these cars is, in here, you have the same type of stick as over here where your shift link goes. Over here, goes through the shift tower housing onto the other side with a locking pin, kind of a half a moon locking pin like over here. Always breaks, it always gets loose and wobbly over here, and you come to shake this and it's very wobbly, and it just makes your shifting really inaccurate. Now, what do you do? The same thing. You just drill out the actual pin over here. It's a little bit hard. You file it a bit to be able to put your drill bit kind of centered, and you drill it in, and you're going to get yourself a 3/8 bolt. Now, it doesn't really matter the length because you seem to kind of have a lot of space over here. You don't want it too long, obviously, because you're going to be tightening nuts for a very long time. You want it long enough to be able to stick out a bit. You put a washer at the end. You keep the two plastic bushings that are inside, because this is a metal screw and this is an aluminum bracket. If you don't keep the plastic bushings inside, you will grind through that shift tower in no time. Here you don't need to, because this is metal, this is steel, and that's steel. This bracket is steel, but the shift tower is aluminum, so you keep the bushings. You put your bolt, you put yourself a washer at the end, and you put yourself a lock washer with a lock nut. Tighten it down, Not too tight. You want it tight enough not to wobble. I can't wobble it here, but you want it enough so you're able to move it perfectly. Now, after doing all that, very simple fix, a couple of dollars of bolts, maybe about an hour's time to take everything out, do everything properly. Really not hard to do. You don't have to be an engineer to do this, but this is a real permanent fix. You will not have any issues again. Once all that is done, you get to your car. I did personally a shift tower rebuild a while back. I changed the main bearing inside, I changed a rubber seal on top. It made it a little bit tighter, obviously, and this is a 2001. I upgraded to the 2003 and up shifter bushings, because the 2001 ones, which is a press fit ball, is a gigantic pain in the ass, and it's very easy to break when you're trying to remove them. That's much easier. After doing all that, you'll realize that your shifting will be a lot more accurate. With very light fingertip pressure, able to put 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Even with the car on, for example. Car on. 1. Shifter barely moves. 2, 3, 4, 5. Very tight. Very nice feel. Very responsive. Very accurate. You really feel like the shifter. It's really fun. It's really fun to drive. It's fun to shift. It feels like brand new. But this mod will last a very, very long time, if not forever, if done properly. Good luck, guys. Enjoy.